Modern warfare isn't about tanks anymore. It's about economies. A drone worth $30,000. A missile worth $4 million. Every time the US shoots one down, it may already be losing the economic battle. This is asymmetric warfare. A weaker force uses cheap tools, drones, missiles, cyber attacks, proxy forces, to outmaneuver a stronger enemy. Iran's strategy? Force opponents to spend billions defending, while it costs almost nothing to attack. How long can the world's most powerful militaries afford a war, where the cheapest weapon wins? What we're about to tell you, most news outlets won't. The truth is urgent, and it's scary. Please like and subscribe for future videos on geopolitics and global strategy. The drone economy. This one dynamic may decide the war. Iran's shahed drones cost $20,000 to $50,000. They swarm. They just need to force a reaction. Stopping them? Patriot interceptors for $1 million each. THAAD, $12 to $15 million. That's just the missiles. A $30,000 attack forces a $4 million defense. Repeat dozens of times. Iran only needs its opponent to keep spending. The truth they won't tell you. The United States is losing this economic battle. Badly. The radar war. Missile defense needs radar, the eyes of THAAD. Without it, interceptors can't track threats. On March 8, 2026, Iran destroyed 4 US ANTP-wide, 2 radar systems in 24 hours. Satellite images confirmed the billion-dollar Qatar radar was struck. In Jordan, a radar was burned black. A U.S. official confirmed it was destroyed. Replacing one advanced radar takes over 2 years. Destroying radar doesn't just damage equipment. It blinds entire defense networks. What's kept secret? U.S. Central Command is scrambling. No replacements. No plan. The cost so far. The campaign has already cost billions. First 100 hours, $3.7 billion, nearly $900 million daily. If the war continues, U.S. costs could reach $40 to $200 billion. Direct and indirect losses. Conducting strikes. Replenishing equipment. Replacing ammunition. That's just America's losses. Not Israel's. Not the Gulf states. Not the global economy. The scary truth? Pentagon contingency funds are draining fast. No end in sight. Israel's burden. While the U.S. carries the operation, Israel faces economic disruption at home. Cost to Israel, $3 billion per week. Every single week. Workplace closures. Schools shut down. Hundreds of thousands of reservists mobilized. The deficit now threatens to exceed 3.9%. This is the hidden front of asymmetric warfare. Not explosions. Economic bleeding. Slow, steady, potentially fatal. What they're hiding. Israel's reserves are running low. They're quietly asking Washington for emergency aid. The narrative war. The most telling battle is fought with words. When Marco Rubio suggested Israel moved first, the White House panicked. The message, Israel moved. America followed. For an America First coalition, that sounds like getting dragged into war. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt personally replied to critics. Not how you respond to manageable complaints. Trump flipped the question. No, I might have forced their hand. Meanwhile, messaging is mixed. Vance says no nuclear weapon. Trump urges Iranians to take over your government. Hegseth says not regime change, but the regime sure did change. Rubio says we hope they overthrow this government. So which is it? The truth, they don't know. No plan. Making it up as they go. Regional gambling. Israel struck oil depots in Tehran. Washington was displeased. Strikes exceeded expectations. Think about that. The U.S. strikes Iranian oil while trying to protect oil. Israel strikes deeper the U.S. objects. Iran threatens Gulf oil. Washington scrambles. No unified strategy. No coherent plan. Instead, there's hope. Hope Iran retaliates against Arab countries. Not U.S. forces. Hope that draws them deeper. This is gambling, not strategy. If the Strait of Hormuz, where 20 million barrels pass daily, is closed, oil could hit $200 per barrel. Yet Washington keeps striking, hoping Iran hits Arab nations instead. While the global economy teeters, U.S. intelligence warns. Iran knows the strategy. They're waiting to exploit it. The water crisis. The most vulnerable target isn't oil. It's water. Bahrain accused Iran of damaging its desalination plant. Iran said U.S. strikes damaged an Iranian plant. Hundreds of desalination plants line the Gulf Coast, within range of Iranian strikes. Without them, major cities cannot survive. Kuwait, 90% of drinking water comes from desalination. Oman, 86%. Saudi Arabia, 70%. On March 2, Iranian strikes landed 12 miles from Dubai's largest desalination plant. Damage also hit power complexes in the UAE and Kuwait. It's an asymmetrical tactic, says a water security expert. Iran can impose costs on Gulf countries without striking the U.S. directly. A 2010 CIA analysis warned attacks on desalination plants could trigger national crises. More than 90% of Gulf desalinated water comes from just 56 plants. Each is extremely vulnerable. The scary part? If 3 major plants go down, millions could be without water within a week. Gulf governments have no public plan. The carriers retreat. No image captures this dilemma more powerfully than the USS Abraham Lincoln. In late February 2026, the carrier operated within 250 kilometers of Iran's coast. Within missile range, 4 Iranian missiles struck the carrier, according to Iran. CENTCOM said it came under fire but wasn't hit. The outcome was the same. The USS Abraham Lincoln retreated. It withdrew from the Persian Gulf entirely, headed toward the Indian Ocean. A billion-dollar carrier with destroyers and F-35 fighters pushed back from the conflict. In asymmetric warfare, even the most powerful ship becomes a target. Even the strongest navy must consider cost. What they're hiding. The captain requested permission to stay. Pentagon denied it. Too risky. Too expensive to lose. In that retreat, there is a message. America is afraid. Global impact. Wars don't stay in one place. Oil prices have surged past $100 per barrel. Inflation. Stock markets. Global trade. Everybody pays. The truth they're suppressing? Behind closed doors. The White House fears a recession before November. Conclusion. Military history is filled with powerful nations, defeated by unexpected strategies. Iran's asymmetric warfare is simple. Turn economics upside down. Force your opponent to spend more defending than you spend attacking. The U.S. and allies still possess overwhelming power, but power alone doesn't decide conflicts. Sometimes the decisive factor is simpler: cost. Here's the truth no one will say out loud. The United States is losing, not on the battlefield, but where it matters most, economically, strategically, and they have no plan. Because in the end, the side that wins may simply be the side that can afford to keep fighting. Right now, America is running out of money to care. The cheapest weapons are shaping the future of war. The most powerful militaries may run out of steam long before the battleship sails back to port. We just told you what most news outlets won't. Now you know the truth. It's urgent. It's scary. It's happening now.